have already started a process on the working group on preventing and reducing deadly force encounters with the police. We have a report that we want attention from the legislature and the entire community on, to focus on that so that we can really get to the bottom of this when it comes to issues of use of force, when it comes to officer wellness, when it comes to community healing, and a whole range of training issues, all kinds of things that bear on this issue. And it's not just those things. I believe that the real work of our working group is the implementation of this, and that really begins in earnest now, and is more important now, I think. So I just want to, as I can,
mambo yenyewe mengi ila yeye atumi milioni moja anatakiwa atoe.
A situation where
sasa eleweke, kuna siku anakuwa anamzuka, kuna siku anakuwa
is a place where Minnesotans can walk again, where businesses can be safe again. But I want to be clear that if the message was this situation, Mr. Floyd is how emergency management works in Minnesota. I'm just going to take a quick moment and explain that. In Minnesota, county emergency management coordinators were the mayors of Minneapolis, St. Paul, Rochester, and Duluth may request National Guard support through the state EOC. So in accordance with that, Minneapolis Mayor Frey made that request of the Minnesota National Guard. What traditionally comes with a request, though, is a layout of capability needed and exactly the problem that's trying to be solved. Typically, the request for the Guard and that type of information come at the same time. Sometimes it lags. So when it lags, what we do is we begin preparing for an unknown mission. But in this case, we sort of knew what we might be doing as it related to civil disturbance in Minneapolis. But it's very important that we know exactly what we're being asked to do, so we make sure that we have the right equipment. We mobilize the right number of soldiers and the right numbers. The second and third mission came together. It came from St. Paul. Specifically, it was to provide security of the Ramsey County Law Enforcement Center and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. The key part of that security was to ensure that St. Paul police officers were not required to secure those facilities, and they were therefore relieved of that duty and able to respond throughout the city of St. Paul throughout the day. And then the last mission we did receive yesterday evening was an escort mission for the Minneapolis Fire Department. The concept of the operation is that we would link up with the Minneapolis Police Department, and as they went into unsecure and dangerous areas, that we would secure the area so they could perform their life-saving and property-saving missions. And we continue to do those missions through the evening. As the governor indicated, about midnight this morning, the governor authorized a law and order mission into the 3rd precinct, what we would call in the military a clear and security mission. So under the leadership of the State Patrol and the Department of Public Safety, the Minnesota National Guard was assigned a task and a mission in support of the State Patrol. We would follow the State Patrol and we would help secure the area that they cleared. Our soldiers remain in that area as I speak now, still on that mission, still securing that location. So people and MnDOT can come in and begin the cleanup of that area. Now, we also have picked up one other mission with the city of Minneapolis. I won't cover the exact details, but it's ongoing right now with the Minneapolis Police Department. And I'm very proud of the relationship between the Minnesota National Guard and the Minneapolis Police Department that goes back to Super Bowl 52 just 2 years ago. Chief Rondo and I worked together during that Super Bowl. So we've had opportunities to serve together, and I have a lot of respect for him. We will continue to operate in Minneapolis until such time that the governor relieves us of that mission. And we will do so in support of the Department of Public Safety and the Minnesota State Patrol. So that's just a little bit of background with Minnesota National Guard since yesterday morning when we first notified of a possible deployment through the deployment and through our mission set last night and then early this morning. My recommendation this morning to the governor was that I continue to do the state capitol mission and that I continue to do the mission in support of the Minneapolis Fire Department. I believe both of those are very critical mission, both to the state and to Minneapolis. And then we'll conduct follow-on missions, again, in support of the Minnesota State Patrol and the Department of Public Safety. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, Commissioner John Harrington.
Good morning. My name is John Harrington. I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety. Governor Walz tasked me to prepare options and capacities and capabilities to respond to the civil unrest, protests, but more importantly and really more directly to the unlawful behavior of the arsonists, the thieves, the burglars, the vandals who were tearing apart the city of Minneapolis. I'd want that.
We've been watching a press conference from St. Paul, Minnesota, after a third night of violence in Minneapolis. We've been hearing from the governor, Tim Walz.